Hey you guys, it's Peter, and I'm back. Of course I'm back. I'm not going anywhere. Beast! Peekaboo, I see you because that was not good. I'm YouTube famous now. Available. I don't know what to say. I don't know a date. I don't know a date anymore. When should it come out? It should come out January 30th. The premiere of Vanderpump Rules. It's my soundtrack. The album. Dad. Shimmy, shimmy. AF. To the back, to the front. You're a 10, baby girl, but I'm a 1. To the back, to the front. You're a 10, baby girl, but I'm a 1. Bump, bump. You're my little boo thing. I don't give a boo. Oh my God, is that song problematic? I don't know if that song is problematic, but I love that song so much, and I put it on in the morning while I'm getting ready, and I dance around with Boo Radley, and I'm like, and you're a 10, but I'm a 1. You're a 10, baby girl, but I'm a 1. You're my little boo thing. I love that song. I don't know. Is he problematic? Is that song problematic? I don't know. The older you get, the less you know about like songs and things like that and who's problematic. You know what I mean? I don't know. So let me know in the comment section. I was watching, I can't remember what it was, what reality show it was that I was watching, but it was like 1,000 Pound Sisters, or it was one of the Housewives or something like that. But it was the very, like, last episode. Oh, no, I know what it was. I know what it was. It was The Golden Bachelor. And I think it was, like, the very end of the first episode when all the women were dancing in the house. And they were dancing to that song. And, like, that moment, I fell in love with that song. Do y'all know that song? Y'all know that song, don't you? Because you're my little boo thing. Yeah, I love that song so much. Okay, now, listen, Linda. Listen, you can tell that this is not as serious as a video today. But we do have some things to talk about. I was like, well, maybe, this is when you stop mid-gloss, right, to say something important. I thought, well, I have like, literally at this point, let me look and see. I have so many drama videos to make. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so I have 8 drama videos to make. And I was like, well, maybe I'll just do like a little one today or whatever. And I thought, screw it. I'm just going to put like 4 topics in one video. So today we're going to talk about the fact that Jeffree Star went off at this event and started using some nasty slurs towards people. So I have some thoughts about that. I also want to talk about Eugenia Cooney having been gone from the internet for a very, very long time. And people keep on sending me this stuff. And so I wanted to say something about that and read the statement that she put out. And then also, what was my other thing I was going to talk about? There was like 4 things I was going to talk about on here. Hold on a second. Jeffree Star, Eugenia Cooney. Oh no, that's for tomorrow. That might be the next day. Oh, and Hanna. And Hanna, the fact that she has now gotten herself a real job. You know, like when people are like, just leave the internet and get a real job. Hanna left the internet and got a real job, and nobody's happy about it, I guess. So I keep on getting sent this stuff. It's interesting to me because I did this video like 2 months ago, and now like more has come out about it, but not really. Like not really a whole lot more has come out about it. And but people have like been sending me all this stuff like crazy. Like I mean, literally, I've gotten probably like 20 or 30 DMs with like receipts and stuff. And people are like, I don't know if you knew this. I'm like, I did that video like 2 months ago, you know. So I do have some thoughts about Hanna and what Hanna is doing now. There is also something that I need to address about James Charles. But let me tell you about the last 12 hours of my day. First of all, I just want to say, as I open my Diet Dr. Pepper and my Dr. Coke, my Dr. Coke, my Diet Dr. Pepper and my Diet Coke cup, my Tervis cup. I love this cup so much, by the way. Amazon, you can get it. Not linked. I don't need to make the money off of every Stanley cup or, you know, every Tervis tumbler and every cup that I put on here. I don't need to link all that stuff. So anyway, maybe every once in a blue moon, but, you know, not everything. I'm not the Jaclyn Hill of YouTube. She's not even the Jaclyn Hill of YouTube. Does she even post videos anymore? Oh, she didn't make a video. Who'd care? But anyway, what was I going to say? Okay, so last night, guess what I did last night? I bet you can't guess. I'm going to give you 5 seconds to guess, okay? How many of I bet there's so many of you out there that get this right. What do you think I did all last night? 1, 2, 3. You're right. Yeah. Didn't even get to 5 seconds. I binge watched Vanderpump Rules because The season 11 premiere is coming out, I think next Tuesday. I think we're a week away from that. And listen, Linda, listen. Did Linda ever listen? Okay, I keep on getting sent that meme, but then I have to tell you what is real funny, okay? This is what's so hilarious to me, right? Somebody sent this to me, and they said, I was driving down the street, and I saw this, and I thought of you, right? And so they sent me this picture, and it's like a real screened-in picture. It was like kind of blurry and stuff, and I was like, this is kind of a blurry picture, right? But the license plate on it said like LSTN Linda or something like that, right? And I was like, oh, that's so funny that somebody's driving around with that license plate, okay? Then after that, I would say in the next 2 hours and 2 days, I got probably, I don't know, listen, y'all would think that my DMs are flooded with tea and things like that. I mean, they are. Sometimes people send me a lot of receipts about tea and stuff that's going on, right? But you would think that my DMs are flooded with stuff like that. My DMs, especially on Instagram, are flooded with things like moose versus deer, or pictures of moose, or how I'm supposed to decipher the difference between moose and deer because of Moosegate 2024. For those of you that don't know, go back to my other previous videos from this year. And then people constantly sending me stuff about Listen Linda. I did not listen, okay? I just want y'all to know, there is a video out there of a little kid talking to his mom saying, listen, Linda. Okay, that's where I got it from. My cousin introduced me to it last year. I was late to the game, okay? There is not an original thought on this channel, just so you know, okay? Beast is from Alyssa Edwards. People ask me all the time, like, where I get stuff from, and it's all borrowed, okay? Everything is borrowed, you know? So there are not a lot of original thoughts over here. I don't claim to be original. There's not a lot of original thoughts, okay? Just so you know. But in fact, the fan that I flip is from Johnny McGovern from Hey Queen, okay? Because I watched Johnny McGovern on Hey Queen for years. So, loved Lady Red Couture, was so sad when she passed away. So anyway, not a lot of like original ideas over here. Yeah. But anyway, what was I saying? Okay. Oh, so last night I binge watched Vanderpump Rules. I feel like there was another thought in there. This happens to me as you get older, or I think this happened to be Peter Monn. I mean, it's happened to me since I was 5. But anyway, so Vanderpump Rules comes out next Tuesday, the season premiere. So I'm trying to like binge watch all the seasons. So I like stayed up very, very late last night. Okay. And I binge watched all these seasons of Vanderpump Rules. And then I got up at 1 o'clock today. Oh, this was leading me into what I wanted to talk about first, which was James Charles. So I got up, you know, late today. I got up at 1 o'clock, took a little Boo Radley out. My neighbor, she rescued a new dog. It's so sweet. It looks like a little cow. It's so sweet. And so she was like taking it for a walk, and she was trying to get her to sit and things. Like, she was so sweet. So anyway, so and I was like, oh, I don't even know if I'll make no videos today. I do. I say that a lot though, don't I? Okay, so that was what I wanted to address first of all, was that I made several serious videos in a row. Yesterday's video was so cathartic for me to just say what I needed to say about how I've been feeling about things for a while. And I also carried it over into my vlog from yesterday, and I talked a little bit deeper about it on my vlog and stuff. And I just want to say the overwhelming amount of love and kindness that you guys gave me yesterday, like, in all sincerity, all jokes aside, no fan, none of that, right? Meant so much to me. You know, I said this in my video yesterday, I've said it a lot, that when I got on BookTube 7.5 years ago, sitting right there, okay? I never, like, could imagine this world that I would be sitting in, getting the opportunity to make videos that people actually want to watch, you know, and things like that. And when people say to me things about views, and like their views aren't great, I'm like, do you realize, like, even on a low day, right, of views, like, the views we get is like a major musician's concert, you know, like, it's pretty crazy, right? And I feel so blessed that I get to get up every single day, flip a fan, and share my opinion about a couple people, you know? And then on top of that, to get so many people that were just like, you know, the things you said were a lot of the things that people said, and there were things that my therapist has said to me for the last 2 years. A lot of the things that people had said are things that my friends, my husband had said to me, my sponsor for the last 2 years, you know, and just were really, really supportive. And I just want to say, it meant more to me than you'll ever know. You know, I'm the one that has to do the work inside of my head to change those things. I'm the one that has to do the work to feel better and work through these things. I didn't really know, it's weird, it just kind of came out of nowhere, honestly, that, this anniversary would affect me the way that it is. So I don't know, what it is about it. I've been very emotional lately, like very emotional. And so, when I said, like, if I need to take a day off here and there or whatever, and you guys were like, take as many days off as you want, we'll be here when you come back and whatever. I just, like, it made me feel, like I said, this was my safe place yesterday where I come and, I just get to escape and whatever. You made me feel even safer than I already feel. Or already felt. And so I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Like, it meant so much to me, the comments I got on that video. So thank you. I woke up at 1 o'clock today, did my prayers and meditations, took a little Boo Radley out and all that kind of stuff. Did I already do some lip gloss today? I think I might need, I can't tell. I might need a little bit more. How easily I forget what happened 2 minutes ago, right? So anyway, then I sat down I asked myself every day, you ready to start your day? Started my day. I'm going through Twitter, going through Instagram, all that stuff. And I get this DM. I'm actually very thankful that this happened because I don't think that people sometimes know the gift that they give me they think that they're like retaliating or being nasty. And there will be a bigger story about this in a while that I'm going to share that does have to do with people like throwing stuff in my face, because something that happened in the last 6 months was somebody throwing something huge into my face that I was very unaware of and actually turned into like a fantastic thing for me. And it was really like a hater trying to get in, and I was like completely unaware of all of this, and it turned out to be a blessing in disguise, and I'm very thankful to that hater for bringing it to my attention, so thank you. And that's kind of sometimes like I try to, I'm such a believer in turning wounds into wisdom and turning situations into situations, into learning situations and whatever. And so it was kind of funny when this happened this morning because I woke up and I got this DM, right? And like if I run through my Instagram DMs right now, because I posted a bunch of pictures yesterday of like, like animals in the snow and animals living in trees and things like that. And so people always like send me messages and they're like, oh, I love this, I love that, I love this little picture and blah, 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 whatever, right? And then out of the blue, I get this DM from somebody. I mean, it was somebody nice. There was somebody that's followed me for a long time, And they said, I just wanted you to know that people are talking about the fact that you still follow James Charles on TikTok. And they think that you're really hypocritical because you call people out, blah, 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 whatever. And I'm like, what? I'm like, Shirley. And do not call me Shirley, okay? Shirley, the person that called James Charles out the most in 2023 does not follow James Charles on TikTok. There's no way. There's absolutely no way, okay? Like, if you had asked me in that moment, like, how much money do you want to put on the bet that you do not follow James Charles on TikTok, I would have said all of it. Just put it all on red, right? So I go over to TikTok. I don't even know how to figure out how I follow people over there because I don't even go to TikTok. The only time I ever go to TikTok, actually my husband just sent me a TikTok. The only time I ever go to TikTok is when my husband sends me a TikTok, and it's usually of like ducks singing. These are the ones that he sent me the last 3 days. Ducks, what do you call it? Swimming around in a sink. Thumbelina, the squirrel, because I am obsessed with Thumbelina, the squirrel, okay? I love her so much. And her mom's voice, I don't know why, but I'm like so obsessed with her mom's voice when she talks to Thumbelina. And then he sent me this video of this little boy that has his dog, and he's singing to his dog, and the people that did the song, it's some DJ, they like mixed him talking to his dog and singing to his dog to like, it's fantastic. And so it's always animal videos that my husband sends me, right? And so I'm like trying to navigate TikTok. I hate TikTok. I think TikTok's of the devil. I used to think Facebook's of the devil. I think TikTok's of the devil, okay? It ruins marriages. True story, it does, because my husband rolls through it 5 hours a day, right? I'm like, can we just be a little bit romantical? And he's like, let me look at one more TikTok. Oh, by the way, speaking of romanticals, this is where, okay, remember TikTok, timestamp that so I can go back to that and remember it, okay? But last night, we were having it was like people are talking about schools being closed today, businesses being closed today, because we were supposed to have this wintry mix last night, okay, starting at 9 o'clock. That it was supposed to be like ice storms, snow. It was supposed to be horrible. I got a message from somebody. I don't know who you are out there, but listen, Linda, okay, you got me going. Because she's like, I'm in central Illinois, and I hope that you're getting the weather that I think it was a comment on a video. And she said, I hope that you're getting, maybe it was a tweet, I don't know. I hope that you're getting the weather that we're getting and whatever, because it's like not stopping or whatever. I literally went outside like every hour on the hour, and it was raining, but there was no ice. Listen, I was hoping for a snow day to be stuck in bed all day with my husband and romanticals, okay? You know, like cup of coffee in bed, maybe watch a movie, you know, maybe order in some food. Listen, he had to go to work this morning, and here I am filming a drama video for you all, okay? There were no romanticals. There was no ice storm. We didn't get none of that last night, okay? TikTok. Okay, so I go over to the TikTok, and I'm like, I know I don't follow James Charles on TikTok. I know I do not follow James Charles on TikTok. Okay, I know that for a fact. Well, I did follow James Charles on TikTok. I followed James Charles on TikTok. And I'm like, oh my God, like, I completely have no idea. I did no clue, you know? About 2 years ago, I have to be honest with you, okay? Like, my unfollowing of these people really had very little to do. I mean, some of it had to do over time with them being problematic. But my original unfollowing of people actually occurred, I think it was after the accident. And, you know, I followed all of these very, like, built, bearded men that I thought were attractive, and every influencer in the world, you know, I followed them all. The Tana Mojos, the Trisha Paytases, the Nikita Dragons, the James Charles, you know, the Shane Dawsons. I followed all of them, you know. I'm talking mostly about Instagram right now. And so I was sitting there one day, and I had followed, like, at that time, like, 1 or 2 senior dog rescues. And then I had also followed this one. It's the very first one that I ever followed, these houses, if you guys know what I'm talking about. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can find what the account is. Fantastic illustrator. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can pull up her name. Okay, so her name is, I'm never going to be able to pronounce it. Here, I will just, I already shared this, but I'll reshare it on my Instagram story right now so you guys can go over there. Her name is, I think it's a she. Her name is, it's like, Eugenia Norca, and it says My Cozy Collection at the top, and it's these little pictures of animals living in the houses, and I had followed her, right? But it was like her and like 2 other dog rescues, like 400 or 500 sexy men with beards and bodies that I will never achieve, and like 300 influencers and famous people. And I mean, a lot of RuPaul's Drag Race people and stuff like that. And at that point, I just was like, I was looking through it, and every single day of like sitting on my front porch, you know, I was just like looking through this stuff, and I was just like, it made me feel worse about my life, you know? And I just was like, okay, first of all, I don't look like these people. Every time I look at their pictures, it makes me feel worse about myself. And I'm reading about these influencers that, to be honest with you, rather disgust me. I'm not even really that interested in their life other than talking about the drama that they're in. I don't really care to see them hanging out with their friends unless it's something problematic that I'm going to talk about in the video. Why am I following them, you know? And so I just like went through and I like unfollowed like every influencer. I unfollowed like all them sexy men. I think there's like 2 people that I still follow. And it's because I'm interested in their life. Like, that's the truth. There's like one guy I follow, and then there's like a couple that I follow. But they like fostered kids, and I followed their life for years and years and years. It's because I'm interested in their life, you know? No, there's 2 couples. It's these 2 guys, and then it's these other 2 guys. You guys probably know them. It's that PJ and whatever, and they live in Tennessee, and they like adopted a bunch of kids, and they like redo houses and stuff. I love their life. Their life seems very magical, and I'm very happy for them. And so I follow them. That's it. The rest of it, it's people that I know in my personal life and dog rescues, senior dog rescues, and those little illustration things, because I love those little, and probably like 10 Christmas Instagrams and 10 Halloween Instagrams, true story. And you know what? As a result of it, my life has been much better. My life is a lot more peaceful, because when I get on Instagram anymore, I think this is part of like why Twitter brings me down so much, because like when I get on Twitter, like I went through Twitter and I tried to unfollow as many people. Now I try to unfollow as many people as I could. Like I went through my list, and as far as it, you know, for one day, and I was like, okay, unfollow all these people. When people would come up that I've talked about being problematic on my timeline, I would unfollow them, you know, when it came up. To be honest with you, I don't ever get on. And that's, I think, one of the reasons why, like, Twitter just stresses me out so much. Because people that I follow on Twitter talk about problematic people, or it will suggest things to you, you know? In all honesty, on Instagram, you want to know what's suggested to me? dog pictures, senior dog rescues, animals living in the wild, and little illustrations of little animals living in the woods. That's what's suggested to me. True story it is, you know? And so, like, Twitter kind of stresses me out a little bit, and I never go to TikTok. I just don't enjoy TikTok. So when I go over there today, and I'm like, girl, they done called me out. They done called me out. They done called me out as the biggest hypocrite. Well, I've always said, you go back and watch my channel from literally like day 1 or 2 over here. I've said I'm probably the biggest hypocrite on YouTube. But I was following James Charles. So I went in and I unfollowed him. So this was the blessing in all of this, okay, that I want to explain. Because, you know, this person told me that I was being called a hypocrite, and that, just so you know, and I know people don't believe this, but I don't go read none of that stuff anymore. It just makes me too sad and upset, and I don't need to go read it. Have your opinion about me, that's completely fine, but I don't read it. And in fact, I used to say I watch every video that's made about me. I don't watch any videos that are made about me anymore. I just don't. I just need to get on here and just do my thing and make me happy and whatever. When people bring some things to my attention, I address them if I feel like they're necessary. If I don't, then I don't. That's how I've moved. And you can even fact check this with all of my friends that, you know, watch YouTube and stuff like that. I'm like, don't bring anything to my attention unless it's something that I absolutely need to address, because I just don't want to deal with it. And I think that comes as a result of me like talking about so much stuff last year. So this is kind of the blessing of all of it. So I went into TikTok and I'm like, I unfollowed James Charles, but then I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I just unfollowed everybody that I follow on TikTok, because I don't watch TikTok unless my husband sends me a TikTok or my cousin Caroline. They're literally the only 2 people. Well, Mel, my book club partner, she sometimes sends me serial killer TikToks. But like, unless somebody sends me a TikTok, I don't look on TikTok. So I just unfollowed everybody. I was just like, you know, listen, I'm going to show you how easy it is to be really transparent, okay? There's no need for me to follow anybody on TikTok. I was not aware that I was following James Charles, so it's just easier for me to unfollow everybody over there, okay? Now, this person told me that people were saying, since I've called all these people out, I have called a lot of people out, okay? I've called out Manny MUA, I've called out Daniel Prada, I've called out Rob Beauty Christie, I've called out all these people. Now, it is currently, let's look and see what time it is, okay? It is 3:30. I did that immediately after. So that was probably at about, I got up at 1, that was probably at 2 that I got on social media, that I did all that kind of stuff. And then I, like, you know, made the bed, washed my face, did all that kind of stuff, did some stuff around the house, and now I'm sitting down here. I've been on video for 22 minutes. So it took me about 2 hours when it was brought to me to address it on video, do the right thing, and move on. Is it really that difficult? I'm confused, okay? I'm still waiting for Rob Beauty Christie's video addressing it, since she said in her own words that she thought that was the right thing to do. It's really not that hard, Christy. See, I did it, okay? It's really not that hard. I didn't realize I was following James Charles. Now, I know that that's not your story because you knew you were following James Charles. I didn't, honestly. I really didn't. I mean, let's just look at this realistically, right? Okay. Do you think the person that was going to call out James Charles the most... I mean, that would be like if somebody said, well, you're still following Colleen Ballinger. I'd be like, what? I mean, do you think the person that's going to call out the people for being predator protectors, for following James Charles, would still follow James Charles? Like, that doesn't even make sense logistically, right? Like, I had no clue, okay? But I'm also not going to be a bullshit artist and not come on here and address it. Because some people may have noticed it and been like, well, Peter's calling out all these other people and he's still following them. And you're right. And you have a right to ask that question, you know? You have a right to ask that question. I think it's interesting to me, you know, that, like, I with my full face, bring things to camera and say these people's names like Manny and Laura and whatever. I don't hide behind a bunch of profile pictures and bring it to my DMs are open. My DMs on Instagram, on Twitter, they're all open. Bring it to me. Say, hey, Peter, I think you're a hypocrite. I don't understand why people have said those things to me. I don't block them. I don't. So feel free to come to me and say, Peter, I think you're a hypocrite because you're following James Charles on TikTok and yet you call out all these other people. That will bring it to my attention and I'll address it with quickness. I don't have a problem addressing it. I ain't got nothing to hide from. I don't have no problem addressing that stuff when you guys bring it to my attention, you know? So, but I wanted to prove also how easy it is. Okay, this is where people be like, oh, he followed James Charles just so he can make this video. I didn't even fucking know I was following James Charles, okay? So anyway, I do know that I'm blocked by Jeffree Star though on TikTok. I knew that. That happened a long time ago because I tried to look him up. Then I had to like make a side account so I could look at his TikToks. The whole thing was a mess. But anyway, but I did want to prove on here how easy it is, right? That if your beliefs do not align with somebody, that's why I went in to go tell the whole story about how I unfollowed everybody. If your beliefs do not align with somebody 100%, you know, and there's no reason for you really to follow them or you take such issue with them like I did, right? then just unfollow them. You don't have to continue to follow these people, right? Well, they can follow them. That doesn't mean, well, I didn't. So it's easy. It's easy to do. So I just wanted to show that, okay? It doesn't have to take 2 weeks or 2 months or 6 months to come out and talk about this. It took me less than 2 hours. And that's from the point that I got up to the point that I washed my face, made my bed, put my dog outside, okay? Made a Diet Dr. Pepper, got on video, got all my stuff down, sat down, and had the time, actually, to come and address it. If I had turned on my camera on the first 5 minutes that I saw that DM, I would have made it in that first 5 minutes. It really doesn't take that long when you know something's wrong to come out and address it and make it right, all right? So yes, I do put my money where my mouth is, all right? And I do believe in action, not words. So these people want to say, like Daniel Prada, well, I'm going to do better, and then continues to do the same things, you know? There's a couple people out there right now that I'm side-eyeing, I have to be honest with you, that, like, I have supported for quite some time, and I'm like, I'm not really sure about. Some of these things are not disclosing affiliate links and I don't know. Like, I hope this was a mistake. It only happened one time. But, you know, like, so it's confusing to me. But anyway, if you guys are confused about anything that I do, feel free to reach out to me in my DMs. I've had a lot of people, you know, that have followed me for a long time that'll be like, hey, Peter, like, I don't understand why you said this in a video or blah, 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 whatever. I don't always respond. You know, I made it very, very clear last year that I'm not responding to emails anymore. I'm not responding to as many DMs and things like that. But I do respond to DMs, you know, from people, and they'll send me TV show suggestions and things like that. If I may just get in a video and address it if you ask me a question. You know, I might not respond, things like that. So, but I just want to make that very, very clear about the following, my following of James Charles. Yeah, it was a huge fuck up, wasn't it? That made me look like a real idiot, didn't it? It did. Like, I was like, I was so convinced when I went over there this morning. I was like, there is no way that I follow James Charles. And then I was like, it said following, and I was like, oh my God, seriously? You might want to fact check things like that, Peter, since you're constantly calling out other people. But anyway, when you know better, you do better, okay? So when people want to call me a hypocrite, I'll expect the unfollowing of James Charles from all of the people that I've called out 6 months ago, okay? Since it took me 2 hours, I think 6 months I think that's very fair. I think it is. Okay, so let's go to the next thing. The next thing I want to talk about is Gabbie Hanna. So I'm not going to give specifics about this, okay? Because a lot of people are talking about where it is and showing up receipts and things like that. Gabbie Hanna is apparently with her family, okay? And she has gotten a real job. And I laugh because it's like this where I've said it on videos before. You know, I've said it about people. Why don't you go get a real job? Then all of a sudden you find yourself on the other side of the coin. You're like, YouTube is a real job. Then you get it, right? Okay. See, like when you are a drama channel that don't give a shit and you can say whatever you want to say, that's when you know. So she went, but she got her a job that's off it, you know, online. It's not a YouTuber job, things like that, right? And she's doing like fitness coaching, fitness classes, and things like that, right? And I'm getting sent all these DMs from people. And to be honest with you, and what it really is like Facebook flyers for the place that she's working at. And she did like this video, like announcing like this class that she's gonna, I had to put my leg out. My leg is hurting so bad. I mean, seriously, can we just talk about like when you're getting old and you gotta put your leg down like that? So anyway, she did this like video on their website, I think, or something, talking about like her fitness class that she's doing and things like that. And whatever, and all these people are like, Peter, I have to know what you think about this. I mean, I love that people care so much about what I have to think about something, you know? I've got lots of thoughts about lots of things, okay? You know what I should have done on my reality TV channel is I should have covered every season of Vanderpump Rules, because I have so many thoughts about that show. But the thing is that you watch one season and then the next season everything changes. So you can't, like, if I say something today, like, I'm so afraid to say about what I think about somebody because 2 seasons later it all changes, you know? But I got thoughts about all kinds of things in the world. So anyway, so Gabbie Hanna, you know, she does this, and then I start getting all these DMs from people. They're like, Peter, did you know that Gabbie Hanna, like, moved out of California, is living at home, and she's doing this fitness job and all this kind of stuff? I'm like, yeah, I covered that 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago, I think, you know? And am I almost at the 30-minute mark? Hold on a second before I get into this. I am. I got 40 seconds left. Hold on. I tried to do that. Adam McIntyre always calls me out because he said, like, right before I, like, do that, I go, I did not realize that I did that. Another thing I didn't know that I did. But anyway, so And y'all know Adam McIntyre's going around the world in 80 days. He's on the world tour. He did Europe. He did like, I can't even keep up with it if you know the truth. He's in Paris for like an event or something, he said. And then he was in Lisbon. And then he was, I don't even know some of these places. I don't know where they are on a map. No, I do. I know Spain. My mother-in-law lived there for a while. My husband moved her there and then she moved back. And okay, anyway. And then he was in Italy. And then I think he's going to Japan. Is he going on the Bonnie Tyler World Tour? Is that what he's doing? Turn around every now and then. Okay, when I was like 16 years old, driving around with my good Judy's, drinking Boone's Farm, you know, and singing Bonnie Tyler, did I ever in a million years, okay, think that 30-some years later, I would be on YouTube, all right? I'm sure that Adam's mother, Sinead, thinks the same way, and I think she is much younger than me. That I would be 30-some years later, okay, on YouTube, talking about a bunch of fools that I could give a shit about, all right? Referencing my colleague, Adam McIntyre, going on the world tour, okay? He's not going on the world tour for this. But going to concerts with Bonnie Tyler. Hell, I didn't even think Bonnie Tyler would be touring 5 more years, let alone 35. Can we give a round of applause for Bonnie Tyler? No, like, seriously. I mean, girl, she is going at it, okay? She is continuing it. And you know what else? Somebody just sent me, these are the kind of DMs I get that I love, right? Somebody just sent me Janet Jackson's, yo, Janet, I'm about to get this. You want this, but do you really think that you can get this at first distance? Now you want to kiss this? Tell them, girls! Too late, you missed this. Because we need a man that's swift, quick, and clever, ready at the drop of a dime to do whatever, not trying to front or fake to save face, because I'm with that day, anytime, any place. Tell them, Jay. You want this? Janet Jackson is going on tour next year, and she is coming to Indianapolis, and she's coming in June, and somebody was like, you should do this for your birthday trip, and I was like, oh, Janet Jackson's coming to Indiana. So, last time she came, my husband went and saw her, and I didn't get a ticket. So anyway, he went with a bunch of his girlfriends. So I might have to go to Janet Jackson this year. But anyway, yeah, I didn't think Bonnie Tyler would probably be touring past 1988, let alone 2023. Congratulations. I think that's fantastic. I love when I see these people that like I grew up with, you know, musically, and they are still out there doing their thing, you know. I love that so much. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh, Adam McIntyre always makes fun of me, because before I turn off the camera, I go like that and pose. You have to. You have to. By the way, I was reading this article. I follow this account, High Snobiety. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? It's all fashion stuff, right? And so I was reading this article yesterday, because for those of you that don't know, the smile that I do in every single picture on my Instagram, this, okay, it's turtle. Okay, and what it is I learned this from my husband, I think. You turtle out, which means it gives you a really prominent, you know, jawline. And then you say prune. Prune. And that's what Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, they say before they take a picture, which is why they always have like that pouty mouth. They go, prune. Okay, so I'm reading this article, and did you... I kind of think, listen, are they problematic these days? I don't know, okay? Are they doing like a return to Full House? Okay, Mary-Kate and Ashley, like, they just kind of like... ooze coolness, you know what I mean? They ooze coolness. I went to junior high with this girl, no, true story. She was very like Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen. I mean, true story, she was. She wore like, I mean, we're talking 7th grade, okay? She wore like gray sweatpants, okay? With like, back in the day, nobody did this back in the day, okay? With like moccasin slippers. And then she'd wear like a long t-shirt, you know, with like a hoodie over it, but the t-shirt hung real low. And then she carried one of those like Louis Vuitton Speedies in 7th grade, okay? And she just was always wear her hair up in this high center ponytail. It was real short. It was like bleach blonde for days. And I can remember she and I took typing next to each other. I was kind of friendly with her, but she was like very popular, but very different. She wasn't like the normal popular girl. And she kind of came in out of nowhere and then left out of nowhere, right? And so I remember she used to sit next to me and typing, and we were like the best typers in class. And I remember one day I looked over at her. She was always reading. Like, she finished her test first and she'd be reading. And she was reading, and somebody sent this to me because I mentioned this in a video a couple years ago, the autobiography of Frances Farmer. Oh, did you know Frances Farmer lived in Indianapolis? No, true story. Have you ever seen the movie Frances with Jessica Lange? Oh! Oh my God, that movie is so good. It is so devastating, but so good. Anyway, every once in a while we drive by her house, because when I was growing up, it was on the way home from church, and my mom would always point to her house, and she'd say that was Frances Farmer's house. It's on the White River Canal, and it's this white house. It looks like a Hollywood house. But anyway, So this girl was sitting next to me, and oh my God, I just thought she was the coolest thing ever, right? And she ended up, when we all like went to high school, she ended up going to boarding school and becoming real good friends with Winona Ryder. And then she ended up being in Edward Scissorhands with speaking parts, okay? All you haters out there can go fact check this, by the way. She was in Edward Scissorhands and Reality Bites, okay? That's my one claim to fame, okay, was her. So anyway, I think she was in Welcome Back, Roxy Carmichael, too, maybe. I don't know, did you ever see that movie? I love that movie so much. I gotta watch that movie again, Welcome Back, Roxy Carmichael. Okay, so anyway, Gabbie Hanna. So Gabbie Hanna, that was a long detour off of Gabbie Hanna. Well, I don't really have a lot to say about Gabbie Hanna, if you want to know the truth. You know, Gabbie Hanna, I look back at her, like, this whole tour of her, speaking of tours, of world tours, of her world tour, of coming for everybody, and her being really problematic, and her taking no accountability, and whatever, and I look at all of that, and I look at her mindset back then, and even some of her music videos, and what I realize is that Gabbie Hanna was really never that happy, you know, and then she was on these TikToks, and nobody could tell if it was marketing for a new song that was coming out, if it was real. I have to believe in retrospect some of it was real, and that she wasn't in a great place, and I don't know, like, people have speculated that her family stepped in and was like, come back home, you know, and whatever. I don't think that at that time, the internet was the place for Gabbie Hanna to be. I also think that I don't know, I just feel like she was struggling online, you know? And I don't know that, I mean, I thought it was drama at the time, honest to God. I thought, because she's like the girl that cries wolf. So you don't know. Like, she does this, and then she goes, it's not marketing for a song, and then she drops the song. So I, honest to God, thought it was drama until it became too much, and then I was like, I'm not covering this anymore. Like, it's too much, I'm not covering it. And then she made her hiatus off of YouTube, and she was gone from YouTube. Now she's apparently home. She's like a fitness coach and things like that. I applaud her for that. I applaud anybody that makes personal decisions that are better for themselves, that put them in a safer place, that put them in a better mental state. That doesn't mean that Gabbie Hanna can't return to YouTube, can't return to TikTok, can't return to online presence, start a podcast again. Maybe she needs a break. You know, maybe she needs a couple years break or 6 months break or whatever. Or maybe she'll never come back. You know, maybe she's done with it all. Maybe she's had enough, right? I think that in retrospect, what I was witnessing was the breakdown of Gabbie Hanna. And in retrospect, it makes me sad. But none of us knew, because she created this world where you never knew what to believe and what not to believe, right? And so, I don't know. It makes me sad that she was suffering deeper at that time than people really knew. And I'm really happy that she seems to be in a fantastic place. I'm not going to drag anybody when they're trying to make self-improvements and they're trying to do better things. You know, that's what I think. Do I think that she's in a position where she needs to make a video and apologize to everybody? I don't know. If she was my friend, I would say, I don't think right now is the time. You know, I think you need to take care of yourself right now. Maybe issue private apologies when you feel like that time's necessary. If you feel like you need to apologize, maybe she doesn't feel like she needs to apologize for anything. I don't know. You know, do I think that she needs to take care of herself? I think anybody that wants to take care of themselves, I congratulate them for that, you know? And like I said yesterday in my video, self-care looks different for everybody. I congratulate her. I think it's a hard thing. You know, like I'm going to talk about Jason Nash later this week. You know, Jason Nash is literally doing everything possible. I mean, he's streaming for 8 hours a day, you know? Actually, let's just talk about this now. Jason Nash is streaming for 8 hours a day on TikTok, 8 hours a day, okay? And people were saying that he's panhandling money, and he was in this podcast, and they were asking him, you know, like, have you ever thought about getting, like, a real job like DoorDash? And he's like, no. And they're asking him, like, why don't you, like, get a real job? And he's like, I don't have any skills. I think, okay, so I was at this birthday party for somebody that turned 50 recently, and on the wall, they had, like, famous people. I talked about this in a video previously, that they had, like, famous people that were turning 50 that year, right? And Jason Nash's name was on there. It's a Jason Nash comedian, okay? So Jason Nash is listed on a wall hanging that you can buy at Party City to put in a birthday as a comedian, a famous person that's turning 50 this year, okay? And he's talking about how he's in such a hole with money because he's got to pay for his kids' school. They're going to college next year, and he's got to pay for his house. And I'm thinking to myself as I'm watching this podcast that, like, a lot of my friends' kids go to charter schools or public schools, but a lot of my friends' kids go to private schools as well. That's kind of a normal thing, that people have to pay for their houses and their kids' education. I think it's a gift. You know, I call my dad every year on my sobriety birthday and thank him for my treatment, for my and my education, because I'm so grateful that my dad paid for my education. But there's a lot of people. My husband, he worked and paid for his whole education. It's one of the things I'm the proudest of my husband about. He worked full time while, you know, at the same time, and then later he took like a semester off and would like just focus on his school. But to sit there and say you basically have to beg for money on TikTok, and he says on there, if you watch the thing closely, he says, well, I have to do something to make, I have it written down in my notes, hold on. He says something about, like, I have to do something to make money. He says something like, he has to do something, right, to make money. And so, like, he's on TikTok 8 hours a day. And he says, like, he gives, like, 4 reasons. Spill some tea with me, put the clip on there. That's all I know, is I saw the clip of the podcast interview that he did. And he does this, like, it's like, okay, anyway, he's all bitter, apparently, that he can't be riding the coattails of David Dobrik anymore and all this kind of stuff. And then he's in this podcast and he's talking about, they're asking why he's like TikToking for 8 hours a day. 8 hours a day. And he's like, well, can other people do that? No, I wouldn't want to do that. Props to you for sitting on TikTok live for 8 hours a day. Okay, I would not want to do that, right? And so but you, like he says on there, I don't have any skills. Your ex is literally one of the highest viewed podcasts on YouTube right now. You can't, like, do a podcast that would get that many views, or are people just bored of you? So basically, Jason Nash's fame has been off of other people. His fame has been off of David Dobrik, and when David Dobrik's not around anymore, he has no fame, and Trisha Paytas. And when they're not around anymore, nobody cares who Jason Nash is, and he wakes up at 50 and realizes this, and then also says he has no skills. I mean, at least I took typing class. You know what I'm saying? At least I took typing class. My mom said to me, she said, always take typing, be a fast typer. I am a fast typer. My mom said to me, always make sure that you're a fast typer, because if you're a fast typer, you can get a job anywhere. I think we're past those days these days, but that's what she always said to me, you know? You can be like your grandma and get a job as a bookkeeper. Now, my grandma's job as a bookkeeper did land her in prison because she chose to steal some. My grandma was an OG. Listen, she was. I don't condone what she did, okay? But she was an OG, okay? My grandma went to prison for embezzlement, if y'all don't know that. I found that out after my grandma died. So Jason Nash is, apparently, Dustin Daly has called him DoorDash Jason or something like that. And people are saying that he's panhandling over there on the TikTok. I don't know. I haven't watched any of it. But I think it's sad that with your life experience and your experience on YouTube, that you can't get a job, I don't know, managing some people or starting a new creative adventure or something. All you have, I mean, is that why Jeffree Star is on TikTok Live? Do they not have any creativity anymore? I mean, it makes me kind of sad, honestly, that and he makes a joke out of it, kind of like a self, like, thing. It's sad to me. It's kind of sad to me that he says on there, they're like, why don't you get a real job? He's like, I have no skills. You have no skills. None whatsoever. You don't have any skills. You've been a YouTuber for this long. Don't demean yourself. You have some skills. You were able to have a social media following that was huge for many years. That has to be sellable to some level. No, so you're choosing to just be on live stream for 8 hours a day. I think that would be exhausting. Do I think he's making money? Sure. But you have to remember that when Jason Nash gets on TikTok Live for 8 hours a day, it's going to go like this. People are going to get excited, but at some point it's going to plateau out and fall down. People aren't going to tip and tip and tip and tip and tip and tip for the next 10 years. They're just not going to do that. So you have to be building your audience over on TikTok Live, or eventually your audience is going to die. And then what's your next move to pay for your kids' college? I don't know. It's kind of sad watching it to me. I've never been a huge fan of Jason Nash, but it kind of made me sad. I mean, we're very close in age. I'm 51, he's 50. And I'm like sitting there watching it, and I'm like, very rarely do I ever think to myself, like, the road is over. Like, I don't have any other options, you know, as far as, like, listen, you know, if it's not this, I'll start 10 podcasts. You know, if it's not this, I'll start 2 more channels. You know, if it's not this, I'll start doing Instagram lives or reels or whatever. I probably won't ever come over to TikTok. Probably. I don't know, maybe. You know? I'll write me a cozy mystery. Hell, this year alone, I'm starting me a Christmas book and a movie, hopefully. I've always got ideas going, you know, constantly having ideas. I've got 4 business ideas just yesterday, you know, that I wanted to start with my cousin Caroline. So, like, you're at 50 sitting there talking about how you can't make no money anymore and you got to be on TikTok Live for 8 hours. It was kind of sad. So, anyway, So I wish the best to Gabbie Hanna. I hope Gabbie Hanna is doing well. I hope she's taking care of herself. If she decides to return to YouTube, that's her choice. I do think she owes some amends to some people, some apologies. I think that would be real nice for her to say, hey, I'm sorry that I disrupted your life so much, and I take responsibility for it. The road that she's on right now, I don't know that she hasn't done that. She might have done that behind the scenes, you know? She might have. Do I think that those people like Joey Graceffa and Daniel Prada would come out and say that she had? Are you fucking kidding me? They can't even come out and address their friend Colleen Ballinger or James Charles. They're not going to come out and say that Gabbie Hanna gave them an apology. It's Daniel Prada's most viewed video. That video gets recommended to me literally on the daily. I'm like, why is this video from like 4 years ago, 3 years ago, of Daniel Prada sitting in a chair, got, I don't know, 8 million views, still getting recommended to me on the daily? Nobody cares what Daniel Prada had to say about Gabbie Hanna today. You know? I'm still waiting for Daniel Prada to do better. You know, he came out in the video where he addressed Colleen Ballinger. He said he's going to do better, and he's still hanging out with James Charles. Putting birthday cakes to James Charles, making fun of the allegations of James Charles, okay? Where's the do better, girl? I'm still waiting for the do better in there, okay? So do I expect Joey Graceffa and Daniel Prada and all these other people to come out and congratulate Gabbie Hanna? No, they were hurt by Gabbie Hanna, you know? Do I think that they would come out and say that she called them up and apologize? I think it would be a nice thing to do, but do I think it'll happen? No. So when you all want to throw it in my face, have I done that on my channel? Yes, I have done it on my channel. I have said that Trisha Paytas has apologized to me in the past in DMs. I have said that other people and I have made amends and apologized to each other. I've said that. With people that I don't get along with today, that I have no, you know, issue with, or people that I'm civil with today and friendly with, you know? So there's no ulterior motive. It's just saying the truth of that person was nice to me, nice enough to me at that time to come. Now, I think if you're going to apologize to somebody, then you're going to turn around and start keep on saying shit about them. Trisha, I don't know that I think that's real nice, but whatever. That's why I keep saying what I got to say, okay, because there's no reason not to. So anyway, but I wish Gabbie Hanna all the best. And Jason Nash, I know Jason Nash is not watching this video, but from one 50-year-old to another, welcome to your 50s, by the way. I think he's 50 at this point. I don't know, because apparently turned 50 in 2023. To one 50-year-old to another, and I don't even know that it really has any age. I've never been a fan of Jason Nash, okay? I think a lot of things he's done are kind of inexcusable and problematic. But don't ever give up on yourself. I would say that to a 20-year-old or an 80-year-old. Don't ever give up on yourself. Don't ever give up on yourself. Ever. Ever. I've had a lot of people in my life that have given up on themselves. In very small ways and in very serious ways. And the flood that it caused after that in their own lives and to the lives of others around them, you never know what tomorrow's going to bring. You never know that tomorrow you're not going to meet the greatest friends you've ever had, have the best job opportunity that you ever had, find the best TV show you've ever seen, or the best movie you've ever seen, or hear the best song you've ever heard. You don't know. You don't know what food tomorrow you might try that you never knew existed. You don't know what tomorrow brings. You know? Don't ever give up on yourself and think, all I have left is 8 hours of TikTok live. And in all honesty, when I watched it, it made me sad because I thought, Jason Nash is a lot more creative than this. He has to be, right? Like, I don't know. And to be honest with you, it kind of gave me the essence of Deaf Noodles a little bit. And I thought, if you do not watch this, like, this is the beginning of the end of your career, Jason Nash. This is the beginning of the end of your career. Okay, I wasn't talking about Jeffree Star today, but I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about Eugenia Cooney. So let me talk about Eugenia Cooney real quick. But before I do, let me go in and make sure she hasn't posted anything new on Instagram, because before I say this, and then people will be like, she posted today, Eugenia Cooney. No. So the last thing that Eugenia Cooney posted on Twitter was, Happy New Year, everyone. I hope 2024 is an amazing year, everybody. And then and I don't believe that I guess I should probably go in and look, shouldn't I? Let me turn down my volume. Hold on. The last thing that oh, here it is. I already had her queued up on the TikTok. No, I don't follow her on TikTok. I don't follow anybody on TikTok anymore. The last thing that she posted on TikTok was on New Year's Eve transition. And then the last thing that she posted, I don't believe she's been in any lives, but I could be wrong about that because I don't keep up with the lives. And the last thing that she posted on Instagram was this reel of herself. It's the same reel she put on TikTok. Happy New Year's, everyone. New Year's Eve makeup transition. So everybody's like, okay, it's now almost the end of January. Where is Eugenia Cooney? Like, Eugenia Cooney lives... I was talking to a friend of mine the other day about Eugenia, and I was like, first of all, the whole thing makes me very, very sad. The whole thing makes me sad about Eugenia Cooney, okay? And, I don't know. I'm not going to get into a big discussion about Eugenia Cooney today. If you guys want me to share my feelings, I've already done that about what I think about Eugenia Cooney. But that's for another video if you want me to talk about it. So anyway, but a lot of people are worried about where Eugenia Cooney is and why isn't she posted. I mean, the girl literally lives online 24 hours a day, right? And she had come out and she had said that she and Jeffree Star and her mom, I believe she said that she and her mom and Jeffree Star were going to go and they were going to visit Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Now, I don't know if that was a joke, but I don't believe that has happened. Has that happened? I don't think that's happened. So something happened in the last month and Eugenia Cooney is gone, okay? So I was sent this by several people. This is the TikTok account that I found it on. That Eugenia Cooney's on her Instagram story put out, "Sorry, I've been gone. It's been a really hard start to the year and I feel bad saying this, but I've just been feeling really upset and not sure what to say right now with everything going on, but I really hope things get better and hopefully I'll be back soon. Love you guys." So I don't know what's going on with Eugenia Cooney. I hope she's well. I'm not going to speculate. I know people are like, oh, well, she's here, she's this, she's doing that, she's checked in here. Her mom did. I don't know what's going on with Eugenia Cooney, okay? I don't. But to another human being out there that apparently is suffering by her statement, I hope she's okay. I hope that when she, I will say this, I hope that when she comes back, that she's so criticized for kind of glazing over things and acting like they don't exist. I'm trying to say this as nicely as I can, okay? That I hope that when she comes back, having put a statement out there that she's like going through things, that she doesn't act like, oh, I'm just back and yeah, I just took a break. I hope that she, with her audience, she's a huge audience, right? Of people that she can help, that she will come back and she will inform people of what she's been going through and how she got to the other side. And I hope she does make it to the other side. I wish all the best for Eugenia Cooney. I really do, you know? When I said in a video that I thought Eugenia Cooney seemed like a very sweet person that seemed very troubled, people were like, do you know what she's done? And she's very problematic and she said this and she said, I know she's done problematic stuff. I know that, right? I don't inherently think that Eugenia Cooney is a bad person. I just don't. I don't get that vibe from her. I don't think she's a bad person. I think she's a very sheltered person that's lived in her bedroom the majority of her life, and that alone makes me sad for her. I wish her all the blessings, all the health, and all the well-being in the world. I do, you know? I want the best for people. I know that people often don't believe that about me, but it's the truth. I do, you know? I can turn off this camera and see somebody as being problematic and still wish them the best, you know? When I talk about James Charles or Colleen Ballinger and all this kind of stuff, as a human being to a human being, I hope growth and change for those people. One, because I don't want them to hurt anybody else, you know? Two, because I can't imagine what it must be like, and I don't have a lot of sympathy for Colleen Ballinger and James Charles, but when, you know, the first book that was ever seriously profound to me was To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. And the part in there where Atticus is talking to Scout and he says, you don't really truly know a person until you walk around in their shoes for a while, you know? I think when I think about Colleen Ballinger and James Charles, I think about how walking around in their shoes, if I had to imagine what that's like, how miserable do you have to be? How much do you really have to dislike yourself to go to those lengths, hurt other people, take no accountability for it, and continue to do it and act like it never happened? Like, that has to be misery, you know, of putting your head on the pillow every single night. I don't really understand that, you know, I don't get it. I don't want them to ever hurt themselves or do anything poorly to themselves. I don't ever want that for them at all. For their families, for their kids, for anybody, you know? But there's ways through that, and I've learned in my life that you have to work through the pain, you know? You have to work through the pain. And, that doesn't mean that I condone what they did or that I'm on their side or that I'm saying, oh, I changed my opinion. I don't change my opinion about James Charles or Colleen Ballinger at all. Period. End of story. You know? But there's a lot of things. I mean, you're talking about multimillionaires that have therapy and treat. I mean, Colleen Ballinger could take 3 months off and, you know, have her husband and her family take care of her kids. And she could go take 3 months off and go to some extensive, you know, therapeutic retreat place out in Fiji somewhere and come back a different changed person. Instead of getting online and talking about rocks, she chooses not to do that. She throws out my therapist, but never talks about anything that she does. James Charles never has really done it. He says my therapist in one article, or my professionals. These are people that have huge sums of money. Do you know how many people out there would love to get therapy, counseling, mental health treatment, addiction therapy, whatever they need, and they cannot afford it? It is not affordable in the United States and around the world, okay? But especially in the United States, it's not affordable. It's not accessible to a lot of people. So I have very little sympathy for people that have it at their fingertips and refuse to do the work and do the change, okay? I have very little sympathy for those people. You have the money, go do the work. There's so many people out there that would love, just don't even have many issues and aren't problematic people that would love to go to therapy once a week just to improve what they can in their lives. I love therapy. Every session I have, I grow. You know, even when I don't have a lot going on that week, I grow. So I don't get it, you know, but I don't wish harm on those people at all. At all. You know, I learned a long time ago in recovery that I have to want for other people what I want for myself. I want peace and serenity for myself, and I want peace and serenity for those people as well. So anyway, it ended on a serious note, didn't it? Well, all I have to say is, attitude check! Fuck you! I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.